Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Drop. And 2023 is basically over. It's December, so we're gonna be wrapping this year up basically, and we're gonna be doing a top performers list, a top 10. I actually haven't done a top list in a while because I feel like it's pretty controversial. People don't like top videos just because if a shoe is at number 3 and another shoe is at number 2, it doesn't necessarily mean that number 2 is better than number 3. I mean, in some cases, or most cases, in my personal opinion, it is, but also in some cases, the 3 might be better than the 2, right? So it is a little controversial, but I feel like it is a little bit more direct, right? So I am gonna do a top 10. So like I just mentioned, it doesn't mean a shoe is better if it's higher ranked in some instances. And also, this is just my personal opinion. This is just from my experiences as well. And all of these shoes have basically been a backup shoe for me this year or in like the past year. And I've loved playing all of these shoes, top 10. So literally you can't go wrong with any of these shoes because they're all amazing performers. But of course I'm gonna have a 1, I'm gonna have a 2 and 3, and you know what I mean. So I'll tell you why a shoe is lower or higher on the list. But if you guys do want to cop any of these shoes, I try to leave a free link in the description box. And disclaimer, there are a lot of non-Nike shoes on here. There's a lot of like overseas shoes, like Chinese companies as well, because they've been killing it. And hopefully Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour, I'm not saying there's none of them, but hopefully those shoes that are mainly in the US, they kind of like innovate and give us better tech for a better price, you know what I mean? Because some of these Chinese companies are giving us amazing shoes with an amazing price with amazing tech, you know what I mean? But anyways, let's get it started off with number 10, and we got the Nike Sabrina 1. The Sabrina 1 is a very nice shoe. It's a very nice performer, but there's a couple of things that made it a little bit lower on the list. And first of all is the traction. The traction, especially on dust, wasn't the best. It wasn't terrible though, but it definitely wasn't as good as some of the other shoes on this list. So because of that, and usually because I'm playing on the dusty court, I put it a little bit lower on the list. But the traction is still really good, especially on a clean court. It has a really nice bite. The cushion also is really nice. We have a 4-foot zoom unit and also full length react, and the react, especially in the heel, is bouncy, it's soft, it's comfortable. The overall shoe is super minimal as well. It's a great looking shoe, and also very lightweight and responsive most of the time. The support is adequate. It's not the best for support, especially if you're a bigger dude, but for me it was good. So yeah, the Sabrina 1 is a very nice shoe, and also pretty cheap, 130 bucks I believe it was. And you can ID it, or I guess Nike buy you it right? It's I believe like 150, 160 bucks. You can customize it as well. A lot of people are actually customizing it. But anyways, there's the Sabrina 1. Moving on to number 9, we got the Curry 11, or any other Flowtro, right? So we got the Curry 11, we got the Curry 4 low Flowtro, which I really like. I've been playing that as well, and yeah, it's pretty much the same exact shoe. I would say I like the Curry 4 low Flowtro a little bit better because the cushion has a little bit more compression in the heel, right? But anyways, you guys already know the traction. You can't really beat Flow outsole, right? So you have an amazing stop on a clean court, really almost too hard. And then your cushion is responsive, it's pretty low to the ground, and impact protection is adequate. So if you're a guard, it's nice, which I enjoyed it if I wanted a responsive cushion, you know what I mean? But for the most part, it's not anything like comfortable or super nice. It's just it's just a nice like responsive setup, Upper overall is really nice. It's super thin, it's supportive overall. So yeah, the Curry 11 is a no BS, no nonsense shoe, and it's really nice if you're a guard, right? And now moving on to number 8, we got the Nike Jaw 1. The Jaw 1 is really nice. It surprised the hell out of me, and it's really weird that a first signature shoe is on this list, especially the Sabrina 1 also, and the Jaw 1. Usually this first signature shoe in an athlete's like signature shoe line is not that nice because they pull out the tech. It's usually a budget shoe, you know what I mean? But the Jaw 1, it's an amazing performer because the traction is so dang good. The traction is amazing. Also, the cushion is really nice. I love the heel compression. Also, the top-loaded 4-foot unit feels nice and bouncy. So it gives you like a nice subtle bounce. The upper also is really supportive while still being thin, right, and soft. And yeah, it's really cozy in the back of the shoe as well. And also, it's really lightweight. It doesn't look lightweight, right? It looks a little bulkier or a little chunky, but it's actually very, very lightweight. So the Jaw 1, I really enjoy playing in that shoe as well. And then moving on to number 7, we got the Nike Freak 5. I don't know why they removed the Zoom out of the title, right? It used to be called the Zoom Freak, but it's just a Freak 5. Anyways, also very, very nice shoe. Super similar to the Jaw 1, but a little bit better in some ways, right? So there is a little bit more bounce in the heel cushion, right? So the Jaw 1 is just a little bit more soft, but the Freak 5, there's a little bit more rebound back in the heel. It has a 4-foot zoom unit, which is nice and bouncy, just like the Jaw 1. The traction also is top tier. I would say it picks up a little bit more dust than the Jaw 1, but still really, really nice. Bites through dust, still really good. And then the upper is a little bit softer, right? And the Jaw 1, it prioritizes, you know, support a little bit more. So if you want more of a supportive upper, get the Jaw 1. If you want a little bit more of a softer, like still supportive upper, but like it's softer in the Freak 5, then the Freak 5 is still like a good option. And that's why I like the Freak 5 a little bit better. That's why it's a little bit higher up on the list. Still a really lightweight shoe as well. Very, very responsive. Fit me like a glove. So a Freak 5 is still a really, really good option. All right, moving on to number 6, we got the Jordan Zion 3. The Zion 3 is on this list, guys. I really, really like playing in it. There is one, or I guess 1.5 issues or 2 issues, right? So the first half issue is the traction, right? The traction does pick up a good amount of dust, but when I was playing in it, it was really, really dry, especially this winter. I don't know what it was, but it was really, really dry. But it was still like not terrible, but I would say it picks up a little bit more dust than most of the other shoes on this list, right? So that kind of sucks, but like I said, it wasn't terrible, right? But clean court, very, very nice traction. The cushion is also something that I really like, with a full length drop-in Formula 23 foam. Feels really nice and soft right underneath my foot. You got a bottom loaded zoom in the 4-foot, but it's really bouncy because it is a drop-in. Support's great, the material's thin, but also the only other thing I didn't really like about it is the narrow fit, right? So when I'm playing, it's fine, right? Like I get used to it and my foot doesn't really mind the narrow fit because I like to have a snug fit when I'm playing, but when I'm kind of like walking around in it, it is a little uncomfortable. So that's why it's a little bit lower on the list as well. But the Zion 3 is still an amazing performer, and I love what they did with the drop in, like the cushion. All right, moving on to the next shoe, we got the AR1, the Reggora AR1, which is Austin Reed's first signature shoe with Reggora, right? And it's a super cheap shoe. It's $100. It's $100, and like honestly, it surprised the hell out of me. I wasn't expecting much. But yeah, it's a really nice shoe. So the traction is one of the best tractions on this list. Like besides the Curry 11 and like the Flow outsoles, if you're playing on a clean court, the AR1 has an amazing stop. I don't know what they did with the rubber compound, but really, really good stops. Bites through dust really well too. The cushion also is really nice and responsive, right? You have like a little bit of compression in the heel, but we have a very soft mesh strobe board. Like the foam is just an EVA, right? So it's not super soft, but you have pretty good compression right underneath your foot. So I like that as well. And then the upper is pretty nice. It's like really good quality for $100. You know what I mean? It's thin. It's also super supportive. Conforms to your foot very well. The tongue, you know, with like the boost pellets is pretty comfortable too. So the AR1 surprised the hell out of me. I really enjoy playing in that shoe. It's just more of like a responsive, but also like stiffer, more supportive feeling shoe than I guess like the Freak 5 or like the Curry 11, Sabrina 1. Those are more like softer feeling shoes, right? The AR1, the actual shoe is a little bit more stiff, right? Like the actual sole, it doesn't really bend as much, and also it is a little bit more on the supportive side with kind of like all the lateral counters and also this more supportive upper, right? Not saying it's super stiff, you know what I mean, but it is a little bit stiffer than like the more softer feeling shoes on this list. So it's still really nice. All right, moving on to number 4, we got the Way of Wade 808-3. The 808-3 is an amazing shoe, and honestly, I would just say get the regular 808-3, but if you want to get the nicer cushion, you can get the 808-3 Ultra, but it is $40 more expensive, right? So $120 for the regular 808-3, the Ultra is $160. So $40 price difference is a pretty big price difference, but anyways, the 808-3 is super duper nice. The traction is top tier. It does pick up a little bit of dust comparing it to like the 808-2, but still really nice performance on dust. The cushion also is a drop-in, right? And obviously, I wouldn't say it's as good as, you know, like the Zion 3, but it's still a nice, adequate setup. You have really good core feel. You have better core feel in the 808-3 compared to the Zion 3, but not as much balance, not as much underfoot cushion, and not as much compression, but it's still overall adequate. The upper is really thin while still being supportive supportive. So it just reminds me of like an old school Kobe, like the Kobe 9, Kobe 11. So that's why I really enjoy playing in the 808-3. All right, moving on to number 3, we got the LeBron 21, super duper expensive shoe. And also LeBron is on this list, which is kind of weird for me, but LeBron 21 also, just like the LeBron 20, is really nice. The traction is top tier. On dust, performance is really good, but it is a little inconsistent, right? So I don't know why, but on some stops I would slide out and it would be a little dangerous. It didn't happen often, but it did happen a couple of times, so just be careful with that. But for the most part, really good performance on clean court and dust. Cushion also super nice. We got a zoom turbo unit in the forefoot. We have a very large volume zoom unit, bottom load in the heel, but also the foam has a lot of compression. The upper, even though it's leather, it's really thin, but also super supportive. And I really like the ankle area where it has a lot of padding. It's super comfortable with that. Like, it feels like a memory foam. So yeah, it's a great looking shoe too, and amazing performance, really responsive, not super lightweight, but also not, it's basically just average weight, right? But still while being supportive. So the LeBron 21 is an amazing option. And now moving on to number 2, we got the series player only Player 1 Plus. The Player 1 Plus, they hit it out the ballpark. Amazing shoe. The traction also is top tier. Has amazing performance on the clean court, but also really good on a dusty setting and also on an outdoor court. The rubber is very hard. The grooves are thick and also deep, so you should be fine on an outdoor court. The cushion also is super duper nice, especially if you use the support midsole, like the drop-in. You can get another drop-in midsole that they sell, but if you get the regular one, it comes with 2 drop-in midsoles, right? And that's also super duper nice. But the overall cushion is really nice. You know, I would say it's a little bit better than the 808-3, but it's not as good as the Zion 3, right? But also, you know, it's a drop-in setup, which I do like. And then the upper is very thin. It's a very supportive shoe as well. And also really minimal feeling and very responsive. And also some of the colorways, the triple black I love. And then like the lucky colorway, it's basically like a Celtics colorway. Looks awesome as well. So that's number 2. And now, moving on to number 1, we got the 361 degrees AG4. This shoe is freaking absolutely amazing, and this is the best shoe in my personal opinion, because I absolutely love playing this shoe, but also really good value. It's only $100 and you get really good tech, you have good cushion, and it's just like, it doesn't feel super cheap, right? The upper, you know, all that, it feels actually pretty nice for $100, right? So the AG4, amazing traction. You have a really good stop. It does pick up a little bit of dust, but for the most part, bites through dust really well. The cushion also, especially with the foam. Okay, so first of all, the foam is really soft. You have good underfoot, like great underfoot cushion. You have great bounce as well, but we also have a really soft mesh strobe board, which makes the cushion even better. The support is amazing. The upper is really nice for quality, but also thin, conforms to your foot very well, and is supportive. So yeah, I mean, also it's a pretty lightweight shoe. So the AG4 is really nice, and it's underrated. Do not sleep on this shoe, guys. It's a really nice shoe. So yeah, one of my favorite shoes to play in so far this year. And like I said, you know, I can interchange all of these shoes, right? So maybe some days if I want a little bit more cushion, maybe I'll go with like LeBron 21. If I want a little bit more bounce, stuff like that, you know, so they can all interchange, you know what I mean? Like sometimes I feel another shoe over another shoe, but for the most part, I would say consistently the AG4, like I guess like top 3 or the top 5 have been in that kind of like top 5, top 3 list for me for quite some time, right? So anyways, this is just my list again, so it's my opinion. So tell us what your list is down in the comment section below, like what's been your favorite shoe to play in this year or in the past year. So that about concludes this video. Hope you guys had an amazing 2023. I'll be looking forward to next year. Hopefully amazing shoes come out next year. I have no doubt about that. I guess like companies are starting to make really good shoes, you know what I mean? There's been a lot of nice shoes this year or in the past like couple years, you know. Again, if you guys do want to copy any of these shoes, I try to leave the link in the description box, but that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.